All right, NAI football fans, welcome to the NAIF Ball Live Show powered by AdCraft Custom Apparel and Merch, the best in the business, the GOATs since 1974. 50 years in the business. You know they're the experts for apparel, merch, and uniforms. I'm Cory Thorpe running a solo show tonight, trying to get back in the studio at some point. We'll get back there eventually. But it's a great week of NAI football here in our first round. Had 4 great games. And let's get to the getting. First up was a tight one. Southwestern St. Francis. Southwestern gets off to a nice lead in the first half, but does not is able to hang on for the win. St. Francis just unable to get back what they had, how far they had fallen behind in this one. Obviously, you can see the difference there between the two. Southwestern able to complete these third and fourth down conversions at a much higher rate. Honestly, didn't run into as many third and fourth down conversions. And honestly, like I had said on Twitter, the big thing in this one is Southwestern had said, we're going to come out ahead in this one. We're going to take some shots. We're going to see if we can get ahead, and then we're going to see if we can sit on it. Braden Howell, only 14 of 28, but those 4 touchdowns came early and allowed Southwestern to force St. Francis in a position they didn't want to be in and weren't able to get out of. Grant Grimmel chunks the ball 43 times, under 200 yards, so that is well under 5 yards per attempt, which is definitely subpar. And, well, it's a little difficult for St. Francis to win when you're not able to move the ball in that manner. Southwestern moves on. Next up is a game that was never as close as the score would show. That's only a 12-point lead there for Friends, but Friends was able to score almost at will on the ground, held the ball for a long time. Ottawa only had it for 25 minutes, so 60 minus 25 is 35-ish minutes of possession time, which is insane. Cavante Baker, no passes completed, but 179 yards on the ground, gets it done. Elias Pino gets 115 yards on only 6 attempts, almost 20 yards every time he touched the ball. And the Friends offense, incredibly efficient in terms of what they were able to do on third and fourth down. 10 of 14 is absurd. Now, Luke Giron was very good. 30 of 40, that's 75% completion percentage, almost 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. A great job there. Just not able to keep up with with Friends. Friends just had too much rushing offense. They did not have enough at-bats to get it done. It was a little close early. Friends got out to a big lead. Ottawa comes back on it on the back of turnovers and poor play by Friends in kind of that middle or in the second quarter of the game. Really, that's the tale there. All throughout the second half, Friends able to hold on to the football and hold on to that lead, and they move on. A good day, especially when you look at just the Kessinger side of the KCAC. That's a big win over a Mid-States, Mid-East, former Mid-East, now Midwest opponent, and a Sooner squad. And now you've got 2 teams moving forward from the same division into the round of 16. That's a really big star on the chest of the KCAC. Up next is our upset. Everyone complaining at the 5-5 auto bid. Oh, we don't like this auto bid. How come a 5-5 team gets in? 5-5 team did pretty good. You don't like it when teams get left out on auto bids. You don't like it when the teams make it on a straight auto bid. You got to choose what you don't like. Lee Kirkland was good enough in this game. 24 of 35 for 310. That's almost 10 yards per attempt. 2 interceptions to go up against Sam Hegeman's 3 interceptions. One of those interceptions directly leading to Pikeville points. One of them closing the game. Unfortunately for Baker, they did not have Truman Yulesgard available like we thought they would. Was not able to go like the coaching staff thought he might have been able to early. And unfortunately, that defense was about 1 touchdown behind the curve, and it just killed them there. Now, to show you how close of a game this was and how much of a back-and-forth affair, there's only about an 8% difference on the 3rd and 4th down conversions. This was a really, really good game. It was a close game, and a feather in Pikeville's cap that they're able to go toe-to-toe with a co-champ out of the Heart South. That is absolutely huge. Makes the AAC look good. This is a huge, huge win for that conference. Amon Williams, we've been talking about him for weeks now. 24 attempts, 152 yards. It's a great job there. Not putting the ball on the ground, but able to keep the ball in your hands. Upike and Bethel, Upike and Baker. Baker was not able to hold on to the ball and play keep away against this offense, and it shows. So, our last game on a very this week was the epitome of, boy, that conference needed that win. Whether it was the KCAC Kessinger, the AAC, or our lone remaining North Star team ever playing football, Dickinson State getting it done over Kansas Wesleyan. It was a close game all throughout. Luke Armstrong for Kansas Wesleyan is an absolute beast and was able to make fetch happen all game long. And it was only for the fact that Dakota State was able to hold on to the ball, because Kansas Wesleyan, when they were getting the ball, was pretty much scoring these long, explosive touchdowns almost at will. And they come away with a 27-20. 38-minute time of possession is insane. Kansas Wesleyan, 4 of 13 on 3rd down. Not great. They were able to score a little bit on Dickinson, but it's so hard when you're not able to, or when your offense is based on explosivity, like K-Dubs is at this point. If you're not getting that consistently, you're going to have a hard time sometimes in the playoffs. It's like being the Virginia college basketball team that relies on the three-pointer and playing a slow game. If your threes aren't falling, you're in trouble. With Kansas Wesleyan, if you're not able to stay on the field, you're not able to get more chances to be explosive, and that's what happened there. And then today, obviously, we got the news that Kansas Wesleyan has made a hire at head coach. Obviously, Matt Myers gone mid-season for the Coyotes. Going into the playoffs with an interim head coach, always a tough deal, but they pick up a defending national champion coach, I believe an offensive coordinator. Actually, it looks like QB and B-back coach at Harding, D2 Harding, becoming the next head coach of Kansas Wesleyan, Matt Middleton. So it looks like the KCAC is going to pick up another Flexbone team. I'm so unhappy with that. Nah, I love Flexbone, but you want to talk about what's going to be interesting is that you will now have Bethel running like a spread flex, possibly. We'll see what happens there as they pretty much went their entire year with an interim head coach. You've got Friends, which runs strict triple, and Kansas Wesleyan that's coming in with Flexbone. Will these KCAC teams get used to the option? When you're the only one running it in your conference, that can be a nice thing. But once it becomes more ubiquitous, it becomes easier to defend. And I would wonder if maybe the Flexbone is becoming a little bit too ubiquitous in the KCAC. Much thanks to Connor Darnell, who's been with us all season with some great work, great graphics. The bag tags are amazing. The bag tags for Players of the Week will be going out soon. Great quality work, whether it's something physical that you need graphic design or whether it's something digital that you need graphic design. Contact Connor. He is the man. And makes us look good, man. I love it. NAI guy, knows what it's like, knows what you need. Give him a holler and see if he can set you up. I'm sure he can. Let's take a look at the matchups going into this week. First off, one of two flights this week, Kaiser U-Pike, a really nice matchup. Kaiser getting a week off, but will it affect them against a U-Pike team coming off of a good win that might be feeling themselves a little bit? Maybe that air raid starts to click a little bit and get, I don't know, maybe start to hit its stride. You never know. What I do know is that likely comeback player of the year, Shea Spencer, is very good distributing the football, and Andrew Burnett is very good at running. And at some point, Jaden Meisinger is going to come back after being hurt for the last few weeks. It's going to be a really, really interesting game. I am still picking Kaiser until I'm proven wrong. I do think Kaiser is one of the far and away best teams in the country, but I do think this is a little bit of a prove it game here for me for Kaiser. I want to see how they respond here. Next up, the 2 seed Grandview taking on Friends. Now this is another interesting matchup for me. Got a Grandview team that likes to run the football, likes to put up numbers, has a really good defense. Against a Friends team who likes to keep the football, not share it, and score using the run, keeping the ball out of the hands of its opponents. Will Grandview be able to make the most of limited chances, or will Friends be able to not put the ball on the ground and win? Honestly, I'm going to go with the defense of Grandview here. I do think it's going to be a tighter game than I'm going to want to see out of Grandview, but I do think that the defense will come to play. Run game is a run game, and I do think this will be the end of the road for Friends, but I do expect it to be a close matchup. 3rd seed Indiana Wesleyan plays host to Southwestern. One of the top offenses in the nation goes up against one of the top defenses in the nation. I don't think Southwestern is going to be able to come out firing like they did against St. Francis, going up against a second straight mid-states opponent. I think that you're going to see Indiana Wesleyan take charge here and assert themselves as a national championship favorite in this game. It'll be, I do think this will be the end of the road for Southwestern, and you'll see Indiana Wesleyan put up points in bunches. The unstoppable force will best the immovable object in this one. Going out west, 4:14 Montana Western, Dickinson State. One of the Montana teams was going to have a flight out to them. This was not to be it. I do like this matchup. These are rivals from the old DAC 8 and DAC 10 days. This is going to be fun to watch Palandry go up against a relatively good Dickinson State team. I do think that Montana Western has too much firepower. Dickinson State had issues with a good running back. I think you will see Palandry able to take care of business there. And I'm gonna go chalk on this one. Montana Western makes it happen. Another one I'm really looking forward to: St. Thomas, Georgetown. Georgetown being one of the few teams that could bus down to St. Thomas inside that 800-mile radius. This is going to be a whale of a game featuring two running backs that are extremely good in Rontavious Farmer and Darius Neal. That's the big talking point for this one. This one's close, honestly. The defense for Georgetown is really, really good. And if anyone's going to be able to stop Rontavious Farmer, it's going to be Georgetown. On the other hand, St. Thomas's defense is no slouch. And if anyone is able to put them in bad situations, able to put Georgetown behind the chains, it's going to be St. Thomas. If anyone is able to explosively get out in front on offense, it's going to be St. Thomas. This one's going to be a very close one. I think this one's going to go down to the wire. I'm going to regret this either way I go. Give me the Bobcats in this one. Ty goes to the chalk team. I think they're going to put Georgetown on the back foot, and I'm not sure that Gehrig is going to be able to throw his way out of it. Now, me saying that, putting that out there, means that I'm likely going to be wrong. So, if all y'all are smart, put money on Georgetown. But yeah, I do think that the most likely outcome here is St. Thomas goes in and puts Georgetown in a place where they don't want to be, and the Tigers just won't be able to get out of it. Two offenses that are very, very good. Morningside Mid-American Nazarene, obviously not enough room to write all of Mid-American Nazarene. So we're just going to go with MNU. It's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be a really freaking good matchup between Zach Chevalier and Adrian Parsons. This is must-see TV. They're at Morningside. I think this is going to be a phenomenal. These are all going to be phenomenal games. This one's going to be really, really, really good. This game goes one of two ways. One, it's 14-7 at the end of three quarters, or it's 52-48 at the end of three quarters. There is no in between. I do think Morningside has a little bit too much defense at this point for Mid-American Nazarene. We saw what a good Baker defense was able to do to Mid-America. I think Morningside's going to be able to duplicate that. They have the personnel to do it. Give me the Mustangs there to get it done. Montana Tech Northwestern. The good matchups keep going. This is a flight for Northwestern going out to Montana Tech. Oh, man. Such good defense. Parker Fryer, the 18th year senior, is so, so good for Northwestern. But that Digger offense with Thielen and Lander Smith, plus the wide receivers that they've got, is going to make this very, very difficult. Adding the fact that this is going to be Hayden Gross's first playoff game, will the stage be too big for him? A lot of times it is for first-year quarterbacks. Give me the diggers. Roll digs in this one. I think Thielen and Smith are going to be a little bit too much for this one, but I do expect this one to be a low-scoring, very Montana kind of game. Let's see. Did not do this ahead of time. Butte, Montana, weather. Saturday, high of 35, but partly cloudy, so should not see any snow, which I have seen. Of course, Northwestern is no stranger to snow, but it does change the way that you play it a little bit there. Expect Northwestern to try to take some of the pressure off of Gross by utilizing Connor McQuillan both in the passing game and in the running game. But expect Montana Tech to really be keying in on McQuillan in this one. I don't know that Northwestern's defense is going to be able to handle Thielen in quite the same way, with a very high-level dual-threat quarterback who is also able to get the ball out to Lander Smith, almost a 1,300-yard rusher, plus his wide receiver core is going to be there in force. Northwestern's had some issues with the running game this season, obviously. In the last game of the season, they were able to exercise some of those demons, but I think in this condition, it's going to be Tech. Now, the last game, and look, the NAIA did such a great job this week with all of these matchups. There's not a single one of these matchups that I'm really not looking forward to. They did a phenomenal job putting this together, compelling matchups, and the teams, there's so much parity this year that the matchups are already good because of all the parity. Sooner Conference needs a big win in the playoffs. Benedictine wants to show that they can get back to the national championship game. This is a big year for them. They have a lot of seniors. They want to go out on top with a bang. Give me the Ravens and the upset here. This is going to be the upset pick for me. Over Tex West. I think the Benedictine offense is just a little bit too much with Dooley and Gathright, plus their ability to run the ball with Witherspoon is going to be a little bit too much for that defense for Tex West that has been suspect at times. I do think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. Benedictine's going to have to make one more stop. But you will be able to read the rest of Benedictine's playoff run off of how well they stop Ernie Caesar. Now, are you going to keep Ernie Caesar from getting touchdown number 40 this season? No, probably not. But can you keep him from going ham? Yeah, I think you might be able to. So I think I'm going to go with the Ravens for my upset pick here this week. A fantastic slate of games. You'll be full of turkey, ready to go. Be a great day for some NAI football. We're going to step aside here real quick. We'll be back with more here after this word from our friends from AdCraft.
So you want to create and sell custom merch for your team or business. That's exciting, but where do you begin? How much inventory should you order? How do you distribute orders? AdCraft has your answers. Streamline the way you offer custom merch by utilizing our risk-free web store service. We ship directly to each customer, and we have the fastest turnaround in the game. Raise funds for your team or get merch to your employees and patrons. Contact AdCraft today, and let's bring your merch to life.
That is exactly what they're so good at, and they are consummate professionals at being able to do it and keeping you in the game. So, you can get back to what you want to be doing: winning football games, recruiting. Let them do the work for you. This is work that is not in your wheelhouse. Let them get their sales staff creating designs for you. You have better things to do, and getting a great product out to your fans who, honestly, especially this time of year, really want to wear your stuff. Grandview shirt. This is definitely an AdCraft shirt. Love it. It is a phenomenal soft shirt. Hit them up. AdCraft web stores are definitely the way to go. Now, offensive and defensive players of the week. It was a hard week this week to pick offensive and defensive players of the week. There weren't really any hugely overwhelming performances that stood head and shoulders above the rest. There were a lot that I went, man, if you'd had a little bit more passing yardage, or if you'd had a little bit more rushing yardage, it would have been you. But you got to remember, these are no slouches that they're playing. These are the best of the best. And in that case, offensively, we're going with Luke Giron from the Ottawa Spirit with that 30 of 40, almost 400 yards. You're looking right there at effectively 9 point some odd yards per attempt. That's huge. 4 touchdowns, kept his team in the game, no picks. And in a game in which your defense had trouble stopping the run, Giron was not the problem here. So going with him, congratulations. We'll get out a bag tag at some point this season. I promise. Defensively, Riley Waters. It was a hard day for defense for Dickinson State, but Waters led the attack. 10 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. I did consider the great, fantastic play of the U-Pike defense with guys getting 18 tackles, 16 tackles, and 16 tackles. But not a ton of them were tackles for loss. There were no turnovers. Heck, I don't think any of them, or a lot of them, I think there was like a tackle and a half for loss each. So going to go with Waters. You make those TFLs, you make those chaos-inducing plays. You never know what can happen. So we're going with Mr. Waters. So that is it again for another NAIF Ball Live show. Matt will be back hopefully next week with me to discuss the quarterfinals in what should be another great week of 8 games. And let's see if the bane of my existence, the 2 p.m. game, is gonna wreck my Saturday. Let's have a look. Yes. Actually, there's only 7. Why are there only 7 games? Who's missing? 1, 2. IWU is missing. Let's take a look at their schedule. Unless they're playing it like on another day or something strange. No. Just not on there yet. Okay. So the IWU Southwestern game is at noon. Georgetown St. Thomas is at noon. All these are Eastern, by the way. 1 o'clock, you get Pikeville Kaiser, Mid-America at Morningside, Friends at Grandview. At 2 o'clock, you get Dickey at Montana Western. At 3 o'clock, you get Benedictine at Kansas Wesleyan. And Northwestern at Montana Tech. Bless you, people. Bless you, people. We are spreading out 8 games across 3 hours. My pleas have not been for naught. I absolutely love it. Undetermined yet if we'll have a Patreon stream, a Patreon watch along. I would like to do one. We'll see what happens. I may or may not be able to do it. Have some family stuff that I've got to attend to. And so we may not make it back until late Saturday, back here. So undetermined as of yet, probably not on this one, and unfortunately, definitely not next week either. I apologize to our marvelous patrons because they deserve the best. And those wonderful folks are as follows. DSU Cone, Bob Boone, Roger Meyer, Jeremy Vobble, Fred Christensen, Ace Wellen, Brett, Marty Siebold, Nick Ryan, Kyle Gregory, Tyler Pierce, Justin Hoffman, Steve Speakman. Appreciate you, Steve. Great speaking to you on Saturday. Brian Shake, Julian Shager, Nate Soapbeer, Stephen Cutler, Julie Louddale, Norton, Nathan Moore, Ryan, Jason Crawford, Charles A. Flowers, Todd, Nick, Sean Chamberlain, Zach Lance, Josue Trujillo, Casey Willison, Carol C. Suggs, Chris Henchman, 21, Derek Lowers, Jason Garnon, USF Sucks, Chris Wiener, Ian Brookshire, Joey Breckel, Coca Nicholas, and Terrence Gant. And of course, the one time I'm able, or the time that I get, I have everything full screen over here on the YouTube chatter. There's no chatter. Oh, well. That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So, appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'll let you get back to some Monday Night Football, but join us back on the Twitter feed on Saturday. Who knows? I might do another Twitter space again. We might be able to fit some of those in. We've got enough games at regularly spaced intervals to where we can talk about games at halftime on Twitter Space. So, catch us there. We may be there. We'll see. We'll keep it loose, light and breezy. But until then, thank you so much for coming and joining me on the NAIF Ball live show. And, well, we will see y'all on the Twitter feed.